Hey there. Stephen Hawking rang the other day and he said, I said, Stephen, don't talk to me about the speed of light. You don't know what you're talking about. So we're going to talk a little bit about the speed of light today and why Albert Einstein was wrong. At the age of 2, I could speak fluently, and my brother came home one day, and he's 8.88 years older than I, and he said, Einstein's theory of relativity said if you shine a light out into space, it would go and the light would bend and come back and hit you on the back of the head. I said, Albert Einstein is wrong. I was 2 years old. Now, why did they accept the Einstein theory as being correct? Well, first off, I want to show you, we now know that the 888 number is Jesus. You know that, don't you? I told you. In Greek. We know that Matthew 1:23 has a value in Greek gematria. I don't know what I'm telling you, you already know it. Right, darling? No, already telling you.
Yes, over and over and over.
880 in Greek gematria. We know that the Shroud of Turin has two sizes on it, and one size is 7353 for the larger piece, which I did for the other day. We've got two pieces of cloth. This is 88.8 millimetres wide, or 8.88 centimetres, which is also 3.5 inches by 171. So therefore this bit here is 39.5 inches, or 39.5 for you who are more educated, by 171. So the area of this bit here is 7353, and this bit here, where the image is, because this was sewn on meticulously by Martha, and she was there at the time, wasn't it? You did that.
I was.
Yeah. And did that Greyhound bus go away with all those people that come to see me? Oh no, he was dreaming, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, somebody else's dream.
Wouldn't you think when God comes to you, there'll be busloads of people out the front? We've even got a vacant lot, all lawn mowed, and so you get 4 or 5 buses on there.
Yes.
Ain't happening.
And all we get is a van from the real estate office erecting
Yes.
a for sale sign.
It's for sale sign. But you'd think I'd be dead by now, wouldn't you?
Oh, with everything that's been done to you and all that ails your physical body that's walking around.
All right, get back to this. So this is 6754.5. So the 5 is Abba. What am I saying? This is image, ghost, phantom, right? Now, why am I saying all that? Why? Remember yesterday I said to you, well, last video, you've got the sun, then you've got Mercury, then you've got Venus, then you've got the Earth, then you've got Mars, then you've got Jupiter, then you've got Saturn. If you measure from Jupiter, which is 88,000, you better be quick because they keep changing the size. If you go back far enough, they had it accurately, and then when they found out I started yapping about it, they have reduced it down. At one stage it was 88846, and then it was 88888. It is 88888 because you're measuring a gas. It's like measuring a fart in a bathroom, right? How wide is it? Hello? So if you measure to each of these, we get on January the 11th, right? The distance is 31.68 astronomical units. An astronomical unit, for those of you who don't know, is the average distance to the sun from the Earth. Now, if you took my body weight of 222.2 pounds, let's say 222 is near enough, because, you know, a plate of chips, a couple of hamburgers, whatever, it does vary a little bit. And you weighed on all these planets, the total weight is 7,353. Hello? You get it? Right. So, let's talk about why they set the speed of light at this moment is 2,997,2458, something like that. We've got a 9 in there. Yeah, that's it. So, what we have there is the speed of light. But if you put a little dot there, you know what you got? That's it. 29.9792458 degrees. That's where the pyramid is, right? In degrees. All right. What does 2997 mean in Greek? Hewn stone.
Which is what the pyramid.
The latitude, the speed of light and the latitude is the same. Hewn stone it means. I'm only joking, right? Yeah, right. Okay, now. Let's look at the sun. There's the surface of the sun. The width of the pyramid in its completed form is 9131.06. Everyone knows that. Ask a school child. Everyone knows that. And how many is that?
Not common core school children.
Not common core.
Common core school child.
If you were to call that days and divide it by it's 25 years. 9131 is 25. So if you've got 4 sides of the pyramid, it's 25, 25, 25. It's 100 years round. The numbers is 36524.24. That's pretty easy. If you divide by 2 and divide by pi, it gives you 5813. The height, plus a little bit, the height of the pyramid. Hello?
Completed.
Are you watching? Completed height, it is. So there's your pyramid. At the centre of the sun, there's 25 million degrees. Know that? The sun rotates on its own axis, but this is 29 days, which is a solar, which is a moon. So that goes around there in 21 days. Down the centre here is 25 days, and down here is 29 days. So the thing is sort of twisting on itself. So we got 25 million degrees. When it hits the surface, there's a drop in temperature to 11,000 degrees. Why is that so? Now, Carl Sagan, in Easy Cosmos, he was the man that pulled it all together with 100 astronomers. And it's a marvellous program. I got it by miracle many, many years ago, about 1990s, that era. I walked into a computer store and there's a great big Belgian guy that was going to repair my computer because it blew up. And I was standing there beside, squeezed in, and he was bigger than me, this guy. And he had a little desk here, and he was working on the computer, and suddenly something pushed on my shoulders down like that, and I could hardly move. Then my arm reached out, my left arm reached out, and I pulled out Easy Cosmos. Without that, I would not have been able to do any of the things I'm doing to you today. And it's Carl Sagan put it together. He said in it, if you could explain why you go from 25 million degrees down to 11,000 degrees at the surface of the sun, why you would be the greatest scientist on earth, because no one knows. Well, I know, I'll tell you what it is. Easy. The speed of light is made up of waves. Now, would it surprise you that the nuclear fusion rate of the sun is 657 million tonnes of hydrogen converted to helium per second? Right? It becomes 654.5 to helium, right? So hydrogen converts to helium. Because everyone knows that. No worries. And I suppose you're also familiar with the fact that if you count how many lords there are in the New Testament, there's 657. Alright, now what happens is this. Light, when it passes the earth, is going like this, right? Right? It's all the same distance apart. No worries. And that speed will give you the location of the pyramid. Let's say that's the earth now. It's at roughly 30 degrees, right? And the reason for that is the descending passage looks out into space, and of course it sees Alpha Polaris and the 0286 YBS number. So, is this accurate? Well, of course it isn't. What a child is that? What I like about doing this on the thing is the rubber. I love rubbing things out, like Jews. Now, as you're coming out from the centre of the sun, where's the centre of the sun coming from? What's happening? That's coming from heaven. See, the earth is the first thing in the universe. I created the earth first. So, when we come out to 11,000 degrees from 25 million, what's happening is this. Let's look at the centre of the sun. And it's giving energy out. So, the energy is coming out like so. Very, very compressed. Then it hits the surface of the sun and it starts doing this. By the time it gets out of the earth, it's doing quarry in stone. So there's your earth little pyramid there. And that latitude, of course, is the speed of light when the sun is its average distance to, which is 1 astronomical unit, the average distance to the surface. So what's happening then is it's coming out and it's repelling poles. You've got two magnets, right? And you put the two faces together, two north poles or two south poles together. What's it going to do? It's going to push it down. Well, let's say you put them in a tube and you drop one magnet in. Oh, lovely, isn't it? And you drop another one in. It's going to bounce and they're going to be apart. Put another one in, it's going to push it down. Put another one, it's going to push it down. Let's say we go 20 miles high. So these magnets up top are all pushing on the next one down. And so the one in the middle, down the bottom, is going to be almost touching the one above it. To the point, you keep on stacking them up high enough, these ones are going to be touching in the centre. Keep on doing it, it's going to push through into heaven. The heavenly realm, that's where it comes from. Isn't that lovely? So, that is why it's 25 million there, 11,000 there, because the temperature drops at this point, right? down here, it drops. This is a gas, remember, like measuring a fart in a bathroom. It's the same thing. So therefore, as it escapes, and this is the fire line if you like, the light then is starting to accelerate away. And then it hits the earth at the same number of hewed in stone. This is the pyramid. And as it goes out further and further, what happens? Well, you know how much I love rubbing things out. Take heed.
How about that and wood chippers, right then?
What's that now?
That is not as you like.
Sorry, the crowd's talking to me. Are you shouting out, you are soul? So
and
it's
your
not
love for wood chippers.
What?
Your love for wood.
Oh, I like wood chippers, yes, they're good. The only trouble is if Hitler had the right idea and did what I wanted him to do and used something like this police stuffing around with horror camps and all that, that's bullshit. You try to be nice to them. You don't do that with Jews. You put them with wood chippers. Oh dear. Alright. And Muslims. They're going too, you know. If you don't become like a small child and say you know nothing and start again, you've got a problem. Pull that out then. What was I talking about? There's something brilliant. I've forgotten now. What was I talking about?
Speed like pyramid.
Huh?
Speed like pyramid. The
Huh?
sun.
Huh?
25 million degrees at the centre of the sun, out to 11,000 degrees. The magnetism of it.
Alright, so that's what's happened. We've got heaven pours through into this realm, and the absolute temperature, zero temperature of space is 54.5, which is the height of the pyramid up to the same number of Fahrenheit below zero, minus 454.5. And that gives you the same number as the pyramid height in feet. That's what it's all about, you see. So, we pour through from heaven, it comes out and, remember! I was just bullshitting there, I was just trying to just ad-lib, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute, I've forgotten again, hold on. So you've got the sun, and then you've got the solar system with the little tiny dots of planets going on. And of course, as the light is going out, it's getting further and further apart. So what appears to be 15 billion light years away is only 3,600 light years away. So the age of the universe is 3,600 years from observation point, and the Earth itself is 3,600 years old. And that, gentlemen of the jury, this is what I'm going to practice for when they yard me into a mental asylum again and say, you're crazy. This is my argument. So the Earth itself is 36,000 years old, and then something unusual happened. You're going to love this. You've got Mars, and Mars is 4,216 miles wide. You know what that means? Well, I'll give you a clue. There's the Earth, and Mars bumped against the Earth. However, when it happened, if it's a grain of sand, Jupiter or the Earth or Mars, the distance from the Sun, in the middle, is the same speed, the same orbital speed, because the Sun is rocketing northwards at 69,000 kilometres per hour. Right? Now, the Milky Way galaxy, something like this, 100,000 light years wide. Now, why is it 100,000 light years? Why not 99,000 light years wide? Why? You ever think about that? I'll give you the answer. times pi is what? Pi. What's it? Round numbers, 3 point. What is pi again?
3.145.
Or something like that. There we go. Alright. I'll put it down over there. That's not it. 3.1459. That's it. And it goes on to infinity. Is that right?
5.3, isn't it? 5.30. Would you like me to look it up?
Look it up on the computer. All you do is go to the calculator and put in P.
Okay.
So go and have a P from me around the corner.
The attention span here, you're probably up to 15 minutes now, 3 times the attention span.
Well, we'll cut it in half.
Analytics on
We'll
the
cut it in
video.
half. We can always stick an eye at in the centre part. All right. Yeah, having fun. So, what's happened is the sun has crossed the centre line of the Milky Way galaxy, which is 100,000 light years wide, which the distance around it is pi. Just shift the decimal point over. That's all you got to do. 3.14159.
That's it. 3.1.
You're supposed to tell me, not me tell you, you know. So you just shift that decimal point over. The distance around the Milky Way galaxy is pi. So what's happened was on the 11th of, what was it? When did we cross the Milky Way galaxy equatorial line? Everyone knows it up to that. Huh?
11th of December.
11th of December. 11th of December. Wait a minute, that number's Daniel. I'll be buggered. In 2011. So on the 11th of the 12th, 2011, at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Australia time, we crossed the centre line of the Milky Way galaxy. And if you go to your sink and get an old CD, that's the best way, put it over the sink. Put a little piece of paper on top of that, then fill it with water. Make sure the water's stationary. Get little bits of paper or something and sprinkle it on top. It's not moving, is it? Then put a knife in and move the bit of paper away so the water starts to drain. You'll find the water will spiral up and the water will turn around and around. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it'll go anti-clockwise. That's backwards. Like, look at the clock. America's a bit stupid, right? So if you look at the clock, just imagine it going backwards. That's how the water's going to go. And the satellites are showing the clouds are doing the same thing. That's causing a weather problem, right? That's why everything's
The
stuck.
merging of the jet streams at the
The
equator.
merging of the jet streams are now merging on the equator, which I predicted how long ago, I don't know, forget. So, if you go in Australia like we are, it goes clockwise. So, at the centre of the Earth, equator, the clouds go like this on one side and like that on the other. And these are trying to merge. Of course, this is what causes the Antarctica to get colder and northern part of the Earth, North Pole, to change its environment.
And as Putin pointed out, and he's not he knows that climate change is BS, as he pointed out, it is good for Russia not have to spend so much money on fur coats during winter, and we can grow more crops.
You know you've got a terrible Russian accent.
I know.
Just say it in English, all right?
That's what he said.
What did you say?
He said it's good for Russia, it means we spend less.
You're doing it again, just say it in English.
We spend less on fur coats and can grow more crops.
Alright, so what's happened is, when these two planets got close together, the Earth went like that, and then Mars went like that. So you've got the South Pole and the North Pole lined up, and that slowly, over a 40-day period, the water from Mars started to drain onto the Earth. Right? Isn't that lovely? And that is why the Earth's waters raised 168 feet. So that opened the Straits of Gibraltar. And the Straits of Gibraltar started to pour water into the cities around the Mediterranean that are 168 feet deeper than the level of the Mediterranean at the moment. Now the Mediterranean now evaporates. Originally the Nile would flow down and drop 9,000 feet into the area which we call the deepest part of the Mediterranean. Right? It's 16,000 feet deep, believe it or not. So, what's happening now is the water flows in one direction. It doesn't flow back out. Why? Because the evaporation evaporates more water out than flows in. So therefore you have enough power coming out at 14 kilometres wide of this gigantic river of water coming in from the Atlantic that's never going to cease to supply all your energy needs for Northern Africa and all of Europe and out over to China.
And it's called molecular fusion in nature, and what's interesting is you've been saying this for a very long time. The engineer from England that we were reading about yesterday, Jonathan Thomas, part of his PhD, and what he described exactly that. The molecular fusion, the energy that nature is, and in particular water falling, waterfalls. No,
exactly.
He's just confirming what you've been saying for a very long time.
Now, so this caused a flood. So the width of Mars is 4216, which means carried away of the flood. Isn't that lovely? Now, ask a Jew that, you'll say it's bullshit, and therefore you know it's true. So easy.
But then again, when we asked a Jew in Rome 3 years ago, what happens when the soul leaves the body, he was speechless, he could not reply, he had to think, he was thinking, called death, stupid.
Well, that's another story, but I mean, this guy's name was, what was it?
Luca.
Luca!
And he certainly was filthy.
Filthy Luca is what money is, right? His name was Luca. As soon as I started to explain things to him, because this guy's a professor of where he was at the university,
He's teaching.
and I just blew him out of the water with logic and talking about things like this, you see, and he stared at me, and he thought, how am I going to make money out of you?
Next person says, if I partner with you, how can we make that money out of you? Blah, blah, blah. You're way more...
I'm happy with 5,000 euros a month, he says. My grandfather made 20,000 because he was an ambassador for Italy. Now we've got a Jew that's a Prime Minister for fucking England.
A female at that.
A female Jew.
Who's likened to Merkel. Are you finishing here? Do you want me to... Oh, you've got to get the eye in the picture.
Okay, turn me off, baby. You turn me on normally.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.